Here, and before I start the video, I would just like to say, let's try and reach like 1,000 subscribers, or like at the very least close to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Just share these videos, share all of these videos as much as you can, really. The reason why I'm trying to put a lot of emphasis on this right now is so that I can get like that community tab, so that I can talk to you guys more and just figure out what you guys want to see in general. Alongside that, I also have a Discord. Like the link is around here, so you guys can just go there, click this, and then you will be invited to my Discord. But for right now, I also want you guys to just help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. Share my videos to those who like what else watch anime, all of that great stuff. So that when we reach 1,000 subscribers, I can do polls. I can do community posts. Be like, hey, how's you guys doing? What do you guys want to see from me this week? What are you interested? What piques your interest? All of that, so that we can grow as a community. Anyways, that's all. Play that intro. People, what is happening, Tiny Clan? It is your boy, King Tiny X, back here with another video. As you can tell, I already got way more energy today. And just looking at this, you already know which what if we're going to be doing today. We are going to do part 2 of what if Deku was Raven's brother. In the last part, I just ended up mentioning his backstory. Basically, how he ended up in the Todoroki family and how he treated them. Now we're going to get on to some canon events. Basically, Deku would continue to discover more and more of his abilities as time would go on. The more he absorbed this negative energy from his family members. And not only that, he would get stronger as well. The stronger he would get, well, the more he would discover his powers. The powers that he would end up discovering during this time are, well, energy projection, or basically like energy manipulation. It wasn't just pyrokinesis and telekinesis he had. He also had It turns out that he also had energy manipulation, so he could basically absorb all forms of energy and manipulate that, basically able to make like sort of psychic weapons or something along those lines, basically like energy constructs, really. Of course, he also has some sort of mind control. That's something that he finds interesting, and he definitely uses that to his advantage over time. But he focuses more on his physical abilities, not really the mental ones, since he finds them to be more flashy, cooler, all of those sorts. And of course, we would also end up having... No, he would definitely not meet Bakugo here. Instead, he is actually homeschooled, taught by some of the best teachers in Japan, really, because of Endeavor's influence, like how far his influence spreads. He is the number 2 hero of Japan, after all. Obviously, Deku would be very intelligent. He's not dumb here. I would say that he's probably, at the very least, unlike on the smarter side, he would be, at the very least, as smart as his canon self, if not even smarter. Of course, we will also have to mention, well, how Todoroki feels about this Shoto Todoroki. Yeah, he's still jealous of Deku and the fact that this kid just keeps on learning new abilities as time goes by. It seems like there is no sort of cap to his power at all. it just seems to be ever increasing. And he's jealous of that. So jealous to the point he even considers sometimes to actually train his fire side, but then quickly denies it, remembering what happened to his mother, remembering why he has this scar on his face, to always remind him of just how horrible of a person his father is. Although he doesn't get treated as badly as he used to be, thanks to Deku being around for Endeavor to actually train him instead. Endeavor took more of an interest in Deku than his own blood-related son, which ticks off Shoto a little bit, but he is still relieved to no longer have to, well, constantly go through that brutal training and actually live a sort of normal childhood. So I would say that he is a bit more open. He's not as cold as he is in canon, at least for like the first 2 seasons. He actually can speak to people. He's not as shy or anything. Deku, on the other hand, he's just a plain savage. Yes, I said it. You guys heard me correctly. He is a savage. He is a savage in battle, that is. He is relentless. He makes sure that he wins every single battle. Even if it's to the death, he will win no matter what. Of course, Endeavor agrees with this mentality. He's like, okay, I approve of this. Strive for that #1 spot. I know you can do it, Deku. No, he wouldn't call him Deku. I know you can do this, Izuku. He just is just so supportive of Izuku to the point where it just really shows that it really just shows who is his favorite kid out of the whole bunch. And it's not even one that is related by blood to him. It's not even one of his biological children, which just makes the whole Todoroki household kind of hate him, to be honest. Also, no, Fuyumi is not going to be a ship here. Absolutely not. I'm just saying. What ends up happening here instead is Deku would be interested in just power. That's pretty much it. He doesn't have much more than that. He will also have dreams from time to time about this about this man who has red skin, 4 eyes, white hair like his, although straighter, less curly, and he has horns for some reason, and he's huge and ripped, of course. And he would say, Izuku, remember me. You are my son. Let me out. Bring me into this world so I can bring you back. Let me take over this world. He's basically trying to convince Izuku to become like a sort of gate for him to make it to Earth. To make it into his dimension so that he can take over that place and perhaps destroy it as well. Izuku doesn't really know about this though, at the very least not right now. He's still pretty young, but by the time he reaches 14, that's when things get interesting, because that's when the sludge villain attack happens. Obviously, he wouldn't be attacked by the sludge villain. Instead, he would encounter the sludge villain trying to take over somebody. And when he sees who it is, he sees like this blonde-haired dude with red eyes shooting explosions or something along those lines out of the palm of his hands while trying to break free of this sludge villain. Izuku is just absorbing this negative energy, and he's just sitting back. He's like, yeah, I should do something, shouldn't I? He doesn't really care about being a hero at all. He just cares about power. He just absorbs all of that negative energy no matter what. And when he feels full, he steps into the battlefield and is like, let me just test out my abilities really quickly. All the heroes are looking at Deku like, what are you doing? they're also kind of amazed looking at Deku because he is pretty tall. He's like 6'4" here. So his height already is impressive, and he also has a really good build. I wouldn't say that he's like extremely ripped or anything. More like he just has like a lean figure, and he's just wearing a tank top today. And so you can tell like he has like some good muscle definition and all of that. Obviously, and when the sludge villain sees Deku, he's like, who are you? Who is this brat? Is this supposed to be like another hero? And what kind of suit is this? What kind of hero gear is this? Is it like your day off or something? And he tries to direct the explosions towards Deku, trying to blast them off, trying to basically show them that, hey, you do not want to mess with me right now. Only for Deku to just lift up his hand and absorb all of the fire. Literally, literally like the fire that was burning down the buildings that one of those heroes was trying to extinguish. Boom, Azuku literally just extinguishes every single fire that was made because of Bakugo. And he just absorbs all of that. Fire is a form of energy. That's why I say that he absorbs all of it into himself. And just releases it all back at the villain. Oh, what do I mean by this? He literally just walks up to the villain, presses his hand against the villain, and releases all of the pent up fire into it. And of course, this fire is very, very hot. I would say that it actually comes out as black flames, like how do you say that word again? Like the Amaterasu from Naruto. Yes, I got to say that. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just had to say it. Like, it was just a missed opportunity. But basically, with the fire being that hot, the sludge villain's body begins to bubble up. You know how when you're basically boiling some water? That's what I mean by boiling. That's what I mean by bubble up. The sludge villain's body is basically being boiled alive right now. Of course, the sludge villain is screaming in agony, and the heroes are watching Izuku in fear. They're like, "What is this kid? What is this kid made out of? Who is this guy?" They're thinking this is like a fully grown adult. Can you blame them? This kid is walking around. He has like this white hair, this white curly hair, which I would say that is actually reaching down to his neck by now. And he also has these horns coming out of his head. It's like, what is this kid? Who is this guy? And looking at his height as well, all of that is just, I should not mess with him. I really should not mess with him. Do not mess with this guy. But of course, they are heroes and they have to step in, or else they wouldn't be heroes. They basically try and stop Izuku from what he's doing. But Izuku just looks at Bakugo. Bakugo looks at him. Izuku pulls him out of the sludge villain so that he wouldn't be boiled alive as well. But the sludge villain, he gets boiled alive to the point where he is just unconscious. I wouldn't say that Deku kills him, but he is very close to death right now. If he doesn't get medical attention soon, he is going to die. And Izuku just leaps out. He literally, not just leaps out. He uses his telekinesis to float and then literally just fly out of there. The heroes are trying to capture Deku, but it's already too late. He's way too fast for them. And this is all over the news. Of course, they would eventually figure out, oh snap, he is one of the kids of Endeavor, the number 2 hero. And then they start knocking on his door like, hey dude, what's up with that? Of course, though, well, Izuku gets pardoned because of Endeavor's influence. He doesn't get any jail time. As a matter of fact, so he just gets a slap on the wrist. And he has to do like community service for a little bit. For a little bit. But that's pretty much all he gets because he still did help out. Like, sure, it was a sort of vigilantism, but he was using this quirk illegally, although it's not a quirk. They see it as a quirk. They don't know that these are like extraterrestrial abilities. Well, they didn't know about the true origin of his powers. Neither does Deku really. He just knows that he has these strong powers, and the heroes are also trying to figure out what kind of quirk this kid have. Like, they've seen him use some pyrokinesis, they've seen him use telekinesis now, and now they're like, how does that work? And they're basically trying to figure out his abilities. Endeavor also tried to figure out his abilities a while ago, but just gave up. But that's pretty much how it went. He would do his community service by cleaning up the beach for 10 months. By the time he's finished, he is, of course, much bulkier as well. I would say that he is getting closer to Trigon's physique. But, well, of course, he would be closer to Trigon's physique and at the same time be discovering more of his powers. He would find out that he has like superhuman strength and durability, reflexes. He can also teleport. That's something that he finds incredibly interesting. That's something that he discovered during his 10 months of just cleaning up that beach, Dagobah Beach. Like, he's trying to figure out how he can remove this trash faster, and he just thinks about like the dump, and all of a sudden he just finds himself in the dump with trash in his hands, and he's like, oh snap, say less. So he starts using that ability more often, although it's a bit draining for him at first. Obviously though, he does end up taking the entrance exam. I wouldn't say that he ends up taking a recommended though, because I'm going to say this. The recommendation exams, you can only recommend one person. You can only ever recommend one person. So, Endeavor ends up recommending his son, Shoto, because, well, at the end of the day, Shoto is basically like the kid that he wanted to have. Like, he has the half hot, half cold, and, well, he has the half hot, half cold quirk like he always wanted, and he is also his biological son. Izuku has none of those traits. That's why he ended up going with Todoroki instead of Deku for the recommendation exams. But for Deku, he doesn't really care. Like, he sees this as an opportunity, as an opportunity to really stretch out his powers. When he finds out what they'll be doing for the physical part of the exam, and this is just great for him. He's like, oh, thank you, Dad. Thank you for not recommending me instead of Shoto for those recommendation exams, because now I can really stretch out my abilities. He ends up using his pyrokinesis most often throughout the whole physical exam. He is just a beast, my guy. Like, he's just sending off mouth blasts of fire. He's literally braining each and every single robot. If he's not using like mouth cannons of fire, he is literally picking up these guys with his telekinesis and just crushing them with that telekinesis. I wouldn't say that he has like reality alteration, because that's just too broken, my guy. But he's basically crushing these guys. He's racking up points incredibly fast. So fast to the point where the teachers, they're looking at the screens and they're like, okay, we're going to have to bring in the 0 point robot early. They were planning on bringing out the the 0 pointer at the last minute. But they have to bring it in like 5 minutes into it because Deku is just taking up all the points. Like everybody else, they've only got like up to like the most probably like 15 points. Well, Deku has like around 80 to 90 points right now. And I'm just lowballing it right now. Like the teachers are trying to keep up with his score, but it's just so incredibly fast. Deku is also teleporting to all of these different locations within a battle. Like it gets so bad to the point where he's literally popping up in different areas where he's not even meant to be. The teachers are losing their minds right now because Deku has teleportation, telekinesis. He also has pyrokinesis, and he's using some sort of energy manipulation as well. He's absorbing all of that fire and then releasing it back again. It's like constantly. And this kid is just popping out with new abilities out of his hat. It's like, what is this kid made out of? They're looking at this kid's stats. They're looking at this kid's background history, and it's like he is one of the kids of Endeavor. But here's the thing: he is adopted. That's where they lose their minds because okay, this kid isn't even really Endeavor's biological kid. This kid is the adopted son of NG Todoroki. But what else does this kid have? Who are his biological parents? What made him to like who are his biological parents? That's basically what they're trying to figure out in order for him to have such strong abilities. And it seems like he has more than one quirk. That's what's crazy about everything. But by the end, look, when it comes down to the 0 pointer, you think the 0 pointer has any chance against Deku? Absolutely not, because basically this happens. As soon as Deku sees the 0 pointer and he sees the girl is trapped under the rubble, he literally just look. He just uses some energy projection. He just shoots. He literally just shoots out of his eyes some. It's basically this. Deku looks at the 0 pointer. He feels his eyes itch for a couple of seconds. And then, boom. And like some sort of energy spreads out of his eyes. It shoots at the 0 pointer. Izuku also shoots fire at the 0 pointer. And it just completely destroys the upper half of the 0 pointer. It just completely annihilates the upper half. And the teachers are just looking at just face palm, and they're like, we should really just take him out of the exams right now because at this rate, nobody else is going to have enough points to really to make it into UA. Barely anybody would be eligible to make it into UA with this freak of nature right here. They even trying to ask All Might, like, hey, do you know this kid? All Might shakes his head saying, no, I don't know who this kid is. I've never met this kid. Even when I've been to even when I've met the Todorokis before, even when I've had my interactions with some of the Todoroki children, I've yet to ever meet this kid, Izuku. And the teachers, they just sigh. By the end, Deku has like around 152, no, like 250 points, my G. And that already just eclipse his All Might score when he was in UA. Yeah, that's basically how I'm going to end off that arc. Obviously, Deku makes it into UA with flying colors. Uh, Endeavor sees All Might on the screen and is like, when he hears that Deku made it into UA with flying colors, he's like, that's my boy. Good job, Izuku. And he pats his head. I'm pretty sure they're both around the same height right now. So Deku is actually sitting down when he hears the message, and Endeavor is the one standing up. When he hears the message, that's why he's able to just pat Zuko's head, and he actually rubs his hair, all of that. You know, like some sort of fatherly affection, something that he doesn't really give Shoto all that much. When it comes on to like the first day in UA, Shoto just sits in the corner staring daggers at Izuku, and actually, what happens here is Deku actually makes it to the school first. Like, here's what happens. And Shoto is basically, Shoto basically made it to the school before Izuku did. Izuku was actually really late. But Deku has teleportation here, so he doesn't really care. And he just teleports to the school at the last minute, walks into the classroom. Todoroki just stares daggers at Izuku because he knows that, well, Deku has teleportation. He could have made it at any time. He actually made it here just as soon as Todoroki was about to sit down. Everybody just looks at Deku in surprise. They're like, who is this kid? How did he just pop up here out of nowhere? Does he have like a teleportation quirk or something? That's what they're really all wondering at first. They didn't even see him walk in through the door. Either tries to walk up to Izuku and introduce himself, but Izuku just completely ignores him. And it's like, hey, our teacher is like literally on the floor trying to sleep. He's in this yellow bag. And this yellow sleeping bag. And he's just waiting for us to quiet down, so they all look in surprise and find out that, yeah, Izuku was not lying. The teacher was even surprised. Aizawa was even more surprised because he thought he was pretty incognito. He thought he was pretty inconspicuous. Like, this is what he's been training for most of his life doing. And Deku was just able to pick up on it right away. He just popped up in here out of nowhere and just immediately said, hey. And he basically just says, hey, look, basically, I don't even know where I'm going with this. Yeah, basically, Deku just says this and that. Aizawa is surprised because Izuku just popped out of nowhere. But Aizawa does actually get up out of his sleeping bag and says, yeah, put on these uniforms. We're going to get ready and do like some sort of physical exam. Not physical exam. Basically, we're going to test out your quirks. See just how powerful your quirks are, like what you can do right now. Just going to test out how far you can reach right now. Ochako Uraraka basically mentions this. Hey, that's a bit unfair because, I mean, it's the first day. You shouldn't be going to orientation. Aizawa says that, well, no. I am your teacher. The teachers at UA basically have free reign over how they teach their classes. And guess what we're going to be doing today? we're going to be we're going to be learning about your quirks. We're going to be finding out how your quirks work. Get onto the field, and if you aren't on the field by this certain time, you're going to be expelled. Put on these uniforms. Put on these gym uniforms. Let's go. Deku puts on his uniform as well, and the guys even mentioned like, "Hey, what is your workout routine, my guy? Like, you are buff, my dude. Like, look at these abs. I want those abs. Give me your abs. Give me your muscles, dude. What is your workout routine?" Kirishima is the one asking the most as well. He's like, "We should really spar, my dude. I want to see what you can do." He sees that Izuku must be strong. Bakugo just looks at Izuku and is like, "He looks familiar." No, this is not going to be a Deku X Bakugo ship, by the way. Instead, what we're going to do here is, well... Alright, let me know in the comments if you want like a Deku X Toga ship in here. Anyways, what we're going to do is... Deku just passes this exam with flying colors. The ball throw, infinity, 50-meter dash, he just teleports, which takes like 0.5 seconds. He beats even Ida's score. Like the long jump, he uses his telekinesis and literally just floats to the other side. Like grip test, he breaks a machine. I don't know how else. I really don't know what other exams were there. Like that side jump. Yeah, no. Mineta still wins, lacking cannon. There's no ability that Deku has that is able to really compete with Mineta's quirk in that instance. Yeah, I'm going to say that's pretty much how it goes. But pretty much for every other exam there was, Deku just aces all of them. And he also has like a lot of energy. He has a lot of endurance, so even when it comes on to like that long distance running thing, like that endurance run I think they had at the end. Yeah, Deku, he just continuously runs to the point where most of the other kids are exhausted. Like the only other people that are on the field at that point are himself, Shoto, Momo, and Bakugo. Bakugo for the sole factor being, well, he doesn't want to lose. He's already lost multiple times to this kid, and this kid just keeps outdoing him in basically everything. He's supposed to be number one. But yeah, Deku just gets first place here. Mineta is in last place though. Because I remember like in canon he was at the very least 19th place. Deku was in 20th place. And if you think that I'm going to just let Mineta stay here, you're dead wrong. Aha, aha. I was always like, alright, pack your bags, go to the principal's office. You're expelled. The kids are like, hold up, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. You were serious? I was like, yeah, why would I joke about that? I was being dead serious. This kid is a pervert. He was too distracted looking at the girls in this class. And he didn't use his quirk to his full potential. So I found that he had zero potential. So guess what? He's getting expelled. And you are not worthy of being in the hero course. Goodbye. That's how it is. So sad. Momo is the most shocked out of everyone, while Deku just doesn't care. Like he's just absorbing all of that negative energy from Mineta. He's like, yes, cry, you little cry baby. Moneta just leaves, and that's it. That's how I'm going to end off this part. You guys can thank me in the comments. And yeah, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. King Titan X out.